I've got something good to say for once, which makes a nice change. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the Boker Broncos. So back when these first came out, they were advertised on the Boker website as 62 to 63 HRC, and they were around €150. And someone noticed this on the DBK Discord server and tagged me in a message, and it was like the best €150 deal you could get, right? Where else could you get high hardness 3B for any money production wise, let alone €150? So I picked up a Boker Bronco from the very original batch, and it didn't hardness test very well at all. It was 58.5 to 59. You can see all the test marks there. And this was around the time that DBK was doing a review on it, and they did some edge retention tests, and they found that it didn't hold up as well as, I think it was potentially a Bark River knife they tried. And the Bark River knives I've tested have all been around 58, and they're always burnt horribly. So, you know, with this thin geometry, plus expected to be 62 to 63, we were thinking this was going to way outperform what they were putting up against, and it didn't. So it seems that it's very likely their knife was also badly heat treated, the same as this one. After Martin released the DBK video, a guy called Thomas from Boker got in contact with me, and he asked me to send back this Bronco as the spec was 61 plus or minus 1 HRC, and they said all of theirs that they had tested were within that range. Now, they weren't originally advertised as 61 plus or minus 1 HRC, they were advertised as 62 to 63. So this one was already below 61 plus or minus 1. You know, this was 59 at maximum. So I told him about the spec changing on their website, because originally it was listed as 62 to 63, and also still lots of retailers list it as 62 to 63, such as Henny Haynes, which I might throw up a quick print screen here if I'm not too lazy. So I told him that it was 62 to 63. Thomas replied to me saying, unfortunately 62 to 63 was just a miscommunication between the marketing and the production team. He also says that they consulted directly with Laren Thomas to perfect the heat treatment of the 3B for a bushcraft knife. I don't know really how valuable that information is, because Laren is a big fan of balance. So, you know, what do you call perfect heat treatment? You know, up for discussion really. So anyway, he sent me a new one, and this one is redeemed. It did measure 62 HRC, which is the bottom, well, it's the top end of their new scale, which is 61 plus or minus 1, which would be 62. But this did get one test of, I've only tested it twice. It got 62.5 and a 62. So it looks like potentially it wasn't a miscommunication being 62 to 63. I wonder if their heat treatment protocol was getting them a large amount of 62 to 63, and they had some edge cases like this, and they didn't want to overpromise and underdeliver, so they just dropped their advertised spec. So I can't confirm that they're all 62 like this one is, but these are all both also fairly different as well. Maybe if I zoom in, it's best to show this. So this top one is the old one. You can see at the bottom it says CPM 3VU Germany. This one does not, but it does say it on the back. And also the ricasso area is different. It's a smaller area here on the old one and a larger on the new one. That is literally the only difference in this knife though. So potentially Boker have redeemed themselves, but we won't really know for sure until we can get some more of these new ones and test them. Keep in mind the handle still completely sucks. It's ultimately skinny, and trying to do any kind of heavy cutting with that is not going to be fun.